back to my YouTube channel. I thought today would be the perfect day since it's kind of a cozy, snowy day today. I have just been deep cleaning and preparing for the new year, and I thought, you know, I haven't shared my updated apartment, and I haven't even shared the story of getting into the apartment. So I thought, might as well do it today since I already kind of cleaned. So today I'm talking about our journey transitioning from living in a shed in California in my parents' backyard to moving up to Idaho and living in a trailer, and then moving from the trailer into my first apartment with my husband. So Mike and I were living in a tiny house tough shed that we converted into a bedroom, and we lived there for all 5 years of college just to finish and save some money. And it was very tight. I didn't even have room in the shed to lay out a yoga mat and do yoga. It was just very, very tiny. It really just fit our bed and like a mini apartment fridge and then like a small food pantry. And then we had a loft for other things and for clothes, but there was just not a lot of room. And so I was dreaming of the day where we would move into an apartment and just have our own kitchen and bathroom and shower within the same living space, where I wouldn't have to put on some rain jacket or shoes just to walk out into the backyard and get into the bathroom. So moving into the trailer was a huge step for us, and we didn't know the opportunity was going to come until I don't know, we graduated, and we didn't know what we were going to be doing for months and months and months because Mike hadn't gotten into any of the grad schools that he applied to out of state. Long story short, his mom was like, hey, I've had this spiritual feeling that you guys are probably going to come up and live with us for the summer. And so I got this trailer for you to live in if you want it. And we were like, whoa, that's so crazy. Like, we really needed a miracle, just something to happen because we were so tired of living in the shed. And we were so grateful to my parents that we could live in the shed, but we were just ready to move on. So we said, yes, we're gonna come up and live in the trailer for the summer. We didn't know if we were gonna move on to North Carolina or any other state. We didn't know what we were doing, but we just knew that for the summer at least, we would come live in the trailer. The trailer was pretty big. I was able to do yoga on the floor, and that was amazing. And we had our own kitchen. We had a little bathroom, a shower. It was so, so nice just to upgrade to that. And so it's really funny because I think a lot of people would look at someone living in a trailer and think like, wow, I would never want to do that, or I don't want to live in a trailer. But compared to the tiny house that we were in, this was so nice just to have our own living area. And then long story short, we decided to stay in Idaho for the year while we prepared to save money. Mike's applying to grad schools in Europe just to see if we can save some money on that aspect as well with a master's program. So we thought, why not stay in Idaho? And we kind of thought about maybe just trying to find an apartment in the area, and this was also something that was just a miracle that fell into place because Mike's parents have this apartment that was added on to their house. So it has a separate entrance. It's super big and spacious, and their tenants that were living there were planning on moving out, I don't know, fall-ish, September, I think. So we were like, wow, that's perfect. And the rent was way cheaper than in town because we were so far from town. The rent was we could save some more money. But also live with family and see them more. We basically also, side note, we were dealing with mice the whole summer. In the house here, they had a huge mouse problem. Just living in the country, it's gonna happen. But in the trailer, we had a huge mouse problem. And so we were trying to find any holes to plug up, and we ended up sealing the trailer. For the first month and a half living in the trailer, we had mice. You could hear them in the kitchen, and so we would close our bedroom door and plug it up with a towel so that we could just sleep without worrying about mice crawling across anything. But that meant that every single day I was waking up and spending 4 hours just clearing mouse poop off the countertops and then disinfecting countertops and just everything. So that was super tiring, and I knew that they had a mouse problem here, and I didn't want to move into the apartment until we could plug up any mouse holes. So like I said, the apartment is technically there's a separate entrance, but there's also a door that leads into the main house as well. And that door is like this makeshift, it's a window that they put wood around. So it wasn't like a real standard door where the door would come all the way down to the floor. And I'll insert some videos, but there was probably like a 2-inch gap on the bottom that Mike had to add some wood to just to really make it snug so mice couldn't just sneak under, because I've seen some of these mice, they're so tiny that they would literally like crawl under these door cracks, like in other rooms and stuff. So anyway, they're crazy. But I didn't want to move in until we can plug everything up. And the countertops when we first moved in were just like 3 sheets of plywood that were kind of laid over the other. I don't know when that was put there, if they originally had countertops in the very beginning and somehow they got destroyed and then they had to put that on, or what, or if people were just living with plywood countertops or what. We didn't know. But because of some demo that was going to be happening, it was the perfect time to actually like look at each room and figure out if there's any holes. So there were some holes in this master bedroom. There were like 5 in the corners and there was no trim. There was carpet, first of all. The carpet was this like really dark brown carpet that was just kind of rolled out, and there was only like trim on half of the room. But because of what I experienced in the trailer, I knew that if there were mice in here, and I talked to the last tenants and they definitely said there were mice, and they woke up at times to like mice crawling on their back, and so it was really bad. So I knew that the carpet was probably destroyed, and I did not want to walk on carpet that had mouse poop everywhere, because I knew that you could vacuum it, you can clean the carpet, but it's not going to be clean enough for me. So I was totally willing to pay for vinyl floors to be put in, and then Mike was going to do the work to put the floors in, but the landlords ultimately were like, hey, our family, you know, landlords, they were like, you know, if you guys are willing to put in the work, like, we'll totally pay for the floors. And so that was so nice. So we were able to put in vinyl floors. So now the whole apartment has just vinyl floors, no carpet, which I actually prefer because it's just easier to clean, sweep, and mop and stuff. But we also were able to plug in each mouse hole that was on the wall, and then we put trim down. So it's super sealed in here. The kitchen had some mouse holes. We had a mouse hole. Oh my gosh, I'll insert a video because I remember taking the video. But we had a mouse hole that extended like behind the framing of the countertops, and you couldn't see it because it was like inside the plywood, or not the plywood, the framing wood. There was like this hole, this cavern, and then into the drywall, into the wall. So I would have never figured it out ever unless I saw this mouse popping its head up out of this corner, like where the countertops would be. And then my father-in-law was able to find out that there's actually this huge gap behind the sink. And so before we put countertops on and did everything, all the mouse holes were plugged up, and so it was sealed and good. So anyway, countertops are amazing. My father-in-law ended up actually making them himself with just some spare wood on the property. So I love how they look, but I also love that like he made them. I just think that's super cool. So major changes and things that I did in the apartment before moving in was that I repainted the cabinet doors in the kitchen so that the white matched the white on the bottom cabinets, and I ended up sanding and painting the kitchen table, and the color is like Creamy Mushroom by Bear, which I think it really does look like creamy mushroom soup. But anyway, I wanted to go for kind of a neutral color palette, and the apartment itself is like, I'm not super into like the cabin-y rustic vibes to begin with. I'd say that my style is more ornate minimalism. So I wasn't going to be doing anything crazy, but I wanted to like kind of challenge myself to work with the style of the apartment already. And I feel like I did a pretty good job. I feel like honestly, you can't go wrong with neutrals in any space. Like it just goes with everything. So that's what I kind of did. I added some peel and stick backsplash tile to the wall right above the countertops. There were some like drywall damage and some dents, and so I had to putty those in and fill those and sand them down. And then I added the peel and stick backsplash, which I love because it's so easy to clean. The only thing is, it is not super sticky. Like it didn't I've already had to glue, like super glue some tiles down. And I wasn't worried about the super glue because the wall behind it was already so damaged and dented from I don't know what, that I figured, you know, if ever someday someone takes them off, like there's already a lot going on. So that was super nice just to kind of like clean that side up. So I changed that. I did the cabinets, I did the table. I deep cleaned the apartment. So it's just super, super clean. Like I don't think there's any mouse remnants left over. And I think I added some curtains to the windows. They already had basically all the furniture there. So the apartment was already fully furnished when we first moved in. And that was actually super nice. Like I actually really like that. Just not having to deal with like buying and selling furniture and holding on to stuff. So okay, we had furniture. But when I went into the master bedroom, and I don't know if I have any video on that, of what it looked like before anything was in here, but we brought our sleep number bed from California to here because well, it's a sleep number first of all, like it's nice. Yeah, our friend got it for us, and so we were like, you know what, like let's just not buy a new bed, like let's just bring it everywhere with us. And so it's been crazy trying to cart it in and out of the truck bed, and because like the actual pad itself is kind of like a fancy air mattress, if that makes sense, but the pump and the box frame itself is like pretty, it's just a queen size, but like it's hard to fit it in places. So when we were in the trailer, we almost didn't get it into the bedroom, and we almost didn't get it out because it was like just barely too big, and so we had to take the door off the hinges just to get the bed frame out. So the only thing in here that we really had was this bed frame, and so we put our bed in here. There were already 2 side tables, so we put those against the window, and the bed originally was against the window, but I wanted to wake up and look out the window at the beautiful scenery every single morning, which has been so amazing. We just have our little nightstands against the window, and we have our books in between them. And I think sometime, like if I was living here a lot longer, I would invest in probably a bed frame, like a headboard, a bed frame, a rug, 2 rugs actually, because we don't have a rug in the living room, but it's fine. It's been okay. I thought I would be a lot colder without one, but actually I just wear socks and it's fine. But I would also get like a little book stand underneath the window, all of our books there, just to kind of clean that area up. But one big thing that I think really elevated the room was Mike adding in this custom wardrobe, and that took a long time. Just because we didn't have any like guide to go off of. We already had, I don't know if this makes sense, there was already a bit of a wardrobe structure attached to the wall, and it's white, but it was just like a simple shelf with like a clothing rod attached to it. And I didn't want my clothes just to be all out in the open. I wanted them to kind of be enclosed and covered, so it just had a cleaner, more seamless look. And so this whole design was in my head, inspired by Pinterest. And so I was drawing it out for Mike. We were doing the measurements. I showed him how deep I wanted it to go. I told him that I wanted to add one section that's just shelving, and then like this side corner section, it was just kind of a dead space. Like it's this awkward slant in the ceiling. You're not really going to be like ducking in to go into it often. So I have that area as like my technology corner where I keep my laptop and my shoes, and kind of just became this random dumping ground for random stuff. But it's not that bad because I don't have that much stuff. But that's been the biggest game changer, because Mike and I have been sharing a closet for the past 5 years. And when I say closet, I just mean like loft in a shed with one clothing rack. So it's been really nice to have our own separate spaces too, because we're both fairly clean. I'm just a little bit more tidy, and I like my clothes exactly how I like them. And so it's been super nice. And Mike actually said he wanted his own space too, because at first I was like, well, maybe we can put both of our clothes in the cabinet and we can just hang up everything else on that side. But Mike's like, nope, let's just each have our own thing. So Mike doesn't actually have any shelves to put his clothes on. So he has like this little bucket thing for his underwear and socks, but he just hangs up everything else, which I think is kind of a pain, but he doesn't really mind it. So anyway, if you're watching the video and you're like, wow, why do you get the special wardrobe and Mike gets this random clothing hanging section? It's because Mike wanted it that way. And I've been trying to help him get something in there so it's more efficient, but he's like, no, it's fine. So it is what it is. But I love my little custom wardrobe, and I painted it it was supposed to be like a warm, dusty pink, just to kind of warm up the room. But I did not think about color theory and how blue and cold this room was with like the cold gray floors plus the cold blue room. It kind of made the pink look more cool toned, if that makes sense. But it kind of goes with the aesthetics of the room. We do have 2 pictures of us in here, but yeah, for the most part, I feel like the apartment feels very bare and minimal, but I'm definitely okay with that. I think the wood trim, the rustic vibe is actually really pretty. Like it's grown on me and I've just become really comfortable in here. It is so, so nice to wake up and have somewhat of like a temperature controlled environment, which is what we're just not used to with living in the shed and in a trailer. We didn't really run the AC or the heater very much just because we wanted to, forced air also makes me get sick. I don't know why. I just always would get sick with forced heater air. And so the tiny house didn't have a heater. And the trailer one, I just didn't know how clean the filter was or like anything like that. So I just didn't run it. I didn't turn it on and we didn't really need it, to be fair, during summertime. But it's just so nice to wake up and it's like not freezing cold, you know? So I think that's been like the biggest plus of living in an apartment is just feeling so, so comfortable here and being able to kind of just stretch out, have our own space. I kind of never really struggled with being together but apart. Like we were always able to recharge together in the same room, but it's also been kind of nice to like have those walls, if that makes sense, to just kind of like tuck ourselves away, or like we can have friends over, but if we need to take a break from socializing, we can just like come into different rooms, if that makes sense. So I don't know if anyone else feels that way about. Anyway, it's just been really, really nice, honestly, living in an apartment. It just feels like we're leveling up in each area that we live in. We're leveling up in some way, and it just feels really, really good to like know what it feels like to live at like the lowest standard of living, I guess, to like someday we'll live at our highest, whenever that is. And it's just gonna feel really, really good to be able to know that experience both there and just really appreciate being at the highest standard of living someday when we get our own house and we're able to customize things to the way we like them. And yeah, so it's just been really, really nice. I'm comfortable here. Mike's comfortable here. We have our own washer and dryer unit. Crazy. So that's like a luxury. We have a dishwasher. That's another luxury. We've been really excited about this space. It's just something that I think I believe in too, is creating a sanctuary within your home so that you don't feel like you need to escape your home to go somewhere else. That's something that I think we struggled with a lot in the shed, was like needing to leave to go recharge because of how it just felt so small and claustrophobic. And here it feels like I can be in here forever. The first month we moved in, I didn't leave the apartment for the first 2 weeks at all because I was so comfortable. And then the last 2 weeks, I think I left like 1 or 2 times to go grocery shopping. And that was it. Other than that, like I've pretty much stayed in the apartment because it is so comfortable and it feels like a little sanctuary. Yeah, that's the apartment update. It's been super fun. We've already had friends come visit us and it was still comfortable. So anyway, if you got all the way to the end, thanks. Let me know your thoughts on what you would do in the apartment, I guess. I'm always open to any like not renovation, but decorative input. Anything that you think would make life easier. I don't know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.